resources for our Mercer University campus, but also that we have partnered with such an amazing company and have great colleagues like Lauren who are willing to come and not only help us implement this at Mercer, but be willing to teach Mercerians directly straight from the company about how to put this awesome tool into good use. And so we're going to kick it off with Lauren giving us some information, and then at the end, we will, of course, leave some time for question and answers, but we will also show you how to get to all of Mercer University's Quinncia resources through the Handshake platform. So, Lauren, you want to go ahead and take it away for us?
All right, thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren and I work with Quincia. So thank you all for having me join you today. So today I'm going to share and walk you through how to use Quincia and how you will engage with the site. So doing things like uploading your resume, scheduling and taking an interview, and getting your LinkedIn profile analyzed as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen here in just a moment. All right, so you're going to head to quincia.io, and then you're going to sign in right here on the right-hand corner using your Mercer University email address. So if it's your first time logging in, you'll actually click Create Account. So you just fill in some information there, and then you'll be able to sign in. All right, so this is the student dashboard. And so where you see dashboard right here, if it is your first time logging in, you will see a banner, and then off to the right in blue, it'll say activate your license. So that is the very first step you have to take once you're logged in. If you don't do that, then you won't be able to then upload your resume from there. So if you find yourself struggling uploading a resume, it is likely due to not activating your license first. So please do that first. And so a great place to start if you don't have a resume already and you're looking for a university approved template, you can download those templates right here. They could be resume templates or even style guides for you to refer to. And then once you're ready to go with a resume to upload for an analysis, you're going to go ahead and just go to this resume widget here and click upload. And so on my screen, there's two options, but for you all, there's only going to be this classic analysis option. This is where you're going to upload a PDF copy of your resume. You're still going to receive all the feedback from Quinn, but you will have to make edits in your original Word or Google Doc of that resume. This analysis and edit feature is one of our newer features at Quincia, so it's not fully released yet, but stay tuned for that because it will eventually allow you to make in-app edits within Quincia to your resume. So we're excited about that one, so stay tuned. And from here, we're just going to browse your computer for your resume file or just drag and drop that file. And then a resume name will automatically populate for you. And from here, you'll just click Next. And so this is a confirmation page where you just want to make sure everything looks good here. This is what was pulled from your resume onto Quincia. So a common thing you might see here is maybe something not being pulled correctly, and then it might leave that field blank. So you will have to fill in that field if you see something like this to make sure you can then proceed to upload your resume. Once you make any corrections, if you need to, you'll be ready to then upload from here. And so it's going to take about 90 seconds for your resume to be analyzed. And so what it's essentially doing at this time is plugging your resume into the most commonly used applicant tracking systems in the United States, the UK, and Canada, and then analyzing how it is being read by that applicant tracking system to then give you feedback on your resume. And so just a little information on applicant tracking systems, if you don't know already anything about them, they're a software system that analyzes multiple components of a job application. So it can filter candidates based on things like keywords and experiences on that resume, and then pass along the most promising applicants to the hiring managers from there. And so in today's day and age, most resumes submitted online will not reach an actual person. So more and more companies have started to implement applicant tracking systems to really streamline that process for them. And it's saving them time and money. And so when you think of big companies like Google or Microsoft, they can get around 50,000 to 70,000 resumes a week. So that's where this system really comes in to help kind of streamline that process and make it a little easier for them. All right, so once your resume is good to go for the analysis to be viewed, you're going to go ahead and just click Navigate to Analysis. And then this is what the analysis will look like. So we have a badge and score here off to the right. So badging could either be a bronze, silver, or gold badge. So maybe if it's your first or second year in school, you're going to achieve a bronze badge. If it's your third and fourth year, getting through that silver badge. And maybe by the time you graduate, a nice goal to have for you is to have that gold badge achieved. And then we have the scoring broken down here in the center. So it's between the general sections of your resume, the formatting of your resume, and the content of your resume. And that second number that you see here is actually the highest score that has been achieved by other students within the university. So this is just really showing how you compare amongst other classmates. But we don't really want you to focus so much on the scoring, but more so on the flags and improvements that you'll receive on your analysis. So flags are going to be indicated in red throughout the analysis. These are going to be edits that you should definitely make because they are what's going to cause your resume to not parse an applicant tracking system correctly. And then improvements are going to be indicated in yellow throughout the document. These are going to be suggested edits to make, as they can definitely make for a more impactful and stronger resume, but it is up to your discretion if you want to make those edits. A nice goal to have for each of these. So for improvements, there's always going to be some improvements there. So don't be alarmed if you keep seeing some on your analysis, but getting that number down as much as you can is a best practice. And then with the flags, getting those down to 0 would be a nice goal to have achieved for that. All right, now getting into the general section here, this is where Quincy is looking at the contact information, the work experience, the education, all of the basics on the resume, and then looking for any flags or improvements to indicate there. So here I don't have any flags, but I do have an improvement for a LinkedIn link missing in my contact information section. And so that's where including something like this can definitely strengthen my resume. It is just an improvement. So for here, it is optional. And then for formatting, I have a few flags here. So this first one is for a grammar correction. So because it is grammar, it's going to be a flag and definitely an edit I should make because it will not allow me to parse an applicant tracking system correctly here. So next, I have a repeated words throughout my document. So this could also be due to being industry specific. So because I've worked at various universities and with students, a lot of my resume will include those words throughout it. So using my best judgment on that, I'm going to go ahead and leave those there. And then I believe I have another flag down here below for margins that were detected outside of the recommended range. And the range is between 0.5 and 1.5 inches. And so if you ever need assistance with how to check your margins and indentation, we do have a great resource here for you to watch a video on how to make those corrections. All right, this next section here is the content section of the resume. So this is where Quinn is going line by line throughout the bullet points of the resume, looking for both essential and technical skills, as well as quantifying outcomes in those bullet points. And so we'll go ahead and click this flag I have here for missing both essential and technical skills. Quinn will then provide examples of bullet points you can use to mock when making corrections. Now, these have about an 80% relevancy to the content of the resume, so by no means should these just be copied and pasted into your resume. They're just really there to help guide you in the right direction when making edits. And then there's also examples of technical and essential skills that are also relevant to your resume that you can then implement within those bullet points when making corrections. All right, this next section here is a quantification missing. This is only an improvement. So again, it is optional to change. And so when quantifying any outcomes on the resume, it should be quantified using either as a percentage or monetary value, but these are not required to pass an ATS, but can definitely make it a stronger and more impactful resume. And so again, you'll see examples of how to create quantifications here within those bullet points. And then again, if you need more resources on how to write bullet points with quantified outcomes, we have another resource here for you as well to refer to. All right, and then we'll scroll on down through this analysis, and then I'll show you what we call our skills cloud here in the center. So this is identifying the essential and technical skills that were mentioned on the resume, in parentheses, the number of times they were mentioned as well. And so if you just need a little refresher on what are essential and technical skills and some examples of some, we do again have a resource for you here to refer to. And then when it comes to technical skills, they do have to be written in a certain way for them to be picked up by an applicant tracking system. So if you happen to notice that you indicated in a technical skill on your resume, but you don't see it listed here, it's likely due to not being written in the correct way. So here as an example, I'm going to go ahead and put Photoshop. I managed to always spell this wrong for some reason. I blame my fingers. Okay, so Photoshop as an example is one where it will indicate Adobe Photoshop right here as the correct way to indicate that on your resume. And then off to the left here, we have a skills gap detector. This is where you can copy and paste a job description. And Quinn will identify all of the missing skills that you don't have that the job requires and let you know of all the number of skills that you do have that the job requires. So it tells you if you are a good match for a specific position that you happen to choose and copy and paste there. So I'm going to go ahead real briefly. I wanted to show you an example of this. So I just went ahead on Indeed here and found a example. So real estate analyst as one example I'm going to use. You're just going to go ahead and I'm going to copy the position summary and then the key responsibilities of this role and the qualifications. So we'll go ahead, copy that and head back here. And so you copy and paste it to then submit. All right, so then it gives me a match score. It tells me 11 skills out of 12, and these are essential skills that I do meet for this job description, and it's telling me coachability is one that I am missing. And then it also indicates the number of technical skills. So I do not have any of the technical skills that this job requires, and it lets me know of all of those skills indicated here that I need in order to meet those requirements. And so again, if you know that you do have one of these skills, it's definitely a good way to recognize that to then input that on your resume. So it might be something you're missing. All right, so off to the right here, we have our resume analysis history. So if you ever need to download a PDF copy of your resume, might be used as an assignment submission, you can find that PDF right here. Something to note, every time you upload a resume, it does write over the previous one. So you will lose access to that in terms of where you look at the analysis, but you can always find this PDF copy. But only knowing that there's going to be the most current 3 here that you'll have access to. Anything older than that will go away. So if you really want to keep good track of everything, I suggest just downloading them every time you submit a new one. And then off to the right here, we have this need help button as a resource for you. So if you're looking for resources from our student library, I'll go ahead and just type in fonts here, and we have all kinds of resources on font sizes and types for you to refer to. And then also we have this chat function here where you can reach out to our team directly if you have any issues resolving any flags or improvements or even technical issues. You can let us know, we'll look into it and usually get back to you in under 24 hours. So we monitor this between 9 to 5 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. All right, I'll take a moment to pause to see if we have any questions about anything. I'll check the chat here.
So far, we have no questions from our online crowd in the chat. I don't know if Ashley has any from the audience. Let me check. I'm gonna go with no. I'm not seeing any. Oh, we have one. There we go. So I did just get one, Ashley, while you were working out technology there. I did just get one from our online crowd, and it's how do I access the license? So when we were talking earlier about activating your license, how does an individual do that?
Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward. On your dashboard, when you first sign in, you're going to see it on the right here, and it's going to be in blue as well. So that will be what you have to click. It's only one click for you to confirm that, and then you'll be good to go. Sorry, I don't have it on my screen, but it will be on your screen for sure if it's your first time logging in.
And later on, I will pull up an account that hasn't had one activated and I can show them at the very end.
Okay.
So once we get to the end of your presentation, I'll show everyone what it looks like. Another question was, what format documents can you upload? Does it need to be a PDF?
Yes, it does need to be a PDF for this classic analysis that we have only available to you. So this one on the left will be the only option to then upload it as a PDF. But stay tuned for this newer feature where you can use a docx file. So
Thank you. That is all the questions we have for now. So go ahead and continue. And for our online group, please continue to put your questions in the chat and others give them to Ashley and we'll make sure we get them answered.
perfect. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and scroll down to the interview widget here right below where the resume one is. This is where you're going to get started when it comes to scheduling and taking your interview. But one thing to note as well is that you do have to have your resume uploaded first before you can take an interview. And that's because the interview uses your resume to base its questions on. So it needs that information to ask you those questions. So once you're ready to go, you'll just click schedule. And then you're going to be taken to this page where you have to select an industry/function. This is to ensure that you are asked an industry related question in that interview. And so you have an unlimited number of interviews you can take. So if you want to test out different industries, you're welcome to do so. And even if it's with that same exact resume that you've had, or if you have a different resume, you're welcome to still continue taking these interviews. And if you want to narrow it down even further to a position and job title, you can indicate that right here. It is optional. And then another feature that's coming soon is a job description option where you get to copy and paste a job description and it will cater the interview to what that job requires. All right, from here, we'll go ahead and click continue. And then it's going to take you to the scheduling page where you just have to schedule your interview at least 5 minutes in advance. We find students come better prepared for this interview when they have some time frame in between when they schedule it and when they take it. But for today, I have a way to take this instantly. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this is what the confirmation page will look like when it's all scheduled. And then we have some interview tips you can refer to as well before you take that interview. We have a PDF and a video you can watch. We also have this practice interview. You can practice with Quinn, which is our online interviewing robot. So practice as much as you need to. And then you're going to receive an email with a link to your interview. And for 48 hours, that link will be active and still work. So if you happen to miss that exact time you scheduled your interview for, that's no problem. You can still use that link for at least 48 hours. And then if you also just need to reschedule your interview, you can do that too. So from here, we'll just click start the interview. And then you'll just have to share your camera and microphone access. And then you're going to be taken to this testing page where you just want to make sure that you're nice and centered in your screen, your face is well lit, and that your audio is also being picked up on. So here you can see my audio is being recognized based on these lines moving here. Once you're ready to go, you'll just click continue. And then you're going to be prompted to select a type of interview. So real-time interviews are for mobile devices and tablets and do require a good internet connection. Standard is more so for desktop and laptops. So for today, I'm going to go ahead and just do the standard interview. All right, so again, it'll take you to this testing page where once you're ready to go, all you have to do is smile and the interview will start.
Hi, Lauren. Great to meet you. I am Quinn and I will be conducting your interview. I went through your resume and it is pretty impressive. For the interview, you will have 2 minutes for your first question and 90 seconds for each subsequent question. The time remaining for each question will be shown on the clock below. If you have finished your answer before your time runs out, feel free to proceed to the next question. The timer is optional, so if you need more time for a certain question, feel free to turn it off. Let's get started. Please tell me a bit about yourself.
All right, so that's Quinn. She's going to start off the interview with the same question each time. From here, she's going to ask 6 more questions. So I'm going to go ahead to the next one so you can see what she has for me.
That was very brief. You'll need to show off your background and personality in your elevator pitch. To round out your answer, consider top achievements you've had and skills you've gained at Georgia State University that you could share. I'm sure you'll do great. Could you tell me more about your time at Nova Southeastern University? What activities were you involved in?
All right, so you see she didn't quite like my response. She had some feedback and recommendations for me to keep in mind as I continue on in the interview. And then she pulled some information from my resume, my experiences and activities as well in schools. So we'll go to the next question here.
Let's think of ways to improve your reply for next time, Lauren. Is there a project or experience at Georgia State University or Nova Southeastern University you could connect to your overarching career goals? What influenced you to choose a career in leadership?
All right, so again, she didn't quite like my response and had some new questions for me as well based on what my resume included. And so like I mentioned, there's going to be 7 total questions in this interview. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this one for right now. So 7 total questions. There'll be different questions each time with the exception of that first one being the same. And these questions are going to vary based on situational, behavioral based, creative based, industry, like I mentioned previously, and also even major related questions. So you can, again, practice as much as you need to. And so it'll take around 10 minutes to finish that interview. And then once you submit it for an analysis, it's going to take about an hour for that analysis to be ready. And so once it is ready, you'll receive an email. And then from there, you can go ahead to your dashboard here, scroll down to the same widget, and then click See Details. All right, so I have a previous interview that I've taken before. So this is my analysis for that one. So I have a badge and score here off to the right. I have a video recording here of that interview. So if you want to play that back, you can. And you can also toggle between all of the questions you've been asked in that interview. And then down below, you'll see the scoring broken down a little further. So it's going to be 100 possible points per question. That's 25 for audio, 25 for video, and 50 for content. And then below that, you'll see the flags that you receive on your interview. So maybe pausing a little bit more throughout the interview could be a common one, slowing down your rate of speech, having more eye contact, and then also speaking more to the skills and experiences that I have had in terms of the content piece here. And then below that, you can view this general analysis, which is just overall interview data. So things like your rate of speech in the interview, how many filler words you use and how many were used per minute. We again have a skills cloud here to identify the essential and technical skills that you mentioned in that interview and the number of times. You can also view your length, your answer length per question here. So that's where you want to be somewhere in the middle where it starts to become green for your answer length. And then speech analytics is just identifying your communication style in the interview. Did you come off more analytical, confident, or tentative? And it's not that necessarily one is better than the other. It's just you being able to showcase some of your personality that comes through. And then we have eye contact here off to the right. So identifying the percentage of eye contact you had in that interview. And we also give an ideal range to have for your eye contact. And now with this, you don't have to stare directly into the camera for it to be picked up. All you have to do is be looking at your screen in order for eye contact to be picked up. And then we have micro expressions here in the center. So this is identifying how you were feeling in the moment as you were telling a story in your interview. So maybe if it was a difficult situation at work or school, you might come off more angry or sad, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you were angry and sad in that interview. It's just seeing how engaged you were with Quinn as you were telling that story. And then we have enthusiasm here off to the left. So this is your the expression of excitement in the interview. You don't want to go too overboard and you don't want to have any at all. So you want to be somewhere in the middle here. This medium range is ideal for enthusiasm. And then also you can view your interview analysis history, a PDF copy of that here. And so again, this could be a way to submit that as an assignment. And also it does write over itself every time you take an interview, but you will have access to the most current 3 interviews that you have taken here. And the need help button is also here again for you on the interview side. So if you're looking for things like interview tips, you can just search here some best practices that we have and recommend to you. And then we have this chat function here. So there is a human behind this. So if you want to reach out to us, you're welcome to.
Lauren, can you talk about, I know you talk about the micro expressions and it is looking for eye contact. Can you talk about appropriate lighting and setting for our students so that number one, their camera can pick it up, but so that also an employer can see that?
Yes. So having your face well lit is ideal. Your background, nothing too distracting. So kind of the way I have it right now. Another thing is also not using filters or like background pictures on your video because that can also mask parts of your body and it may not pick certain things up. So we don't recommend any virtual backgrounds and even blurring too. You don't want pieces of you to be not seen there. But it does allow for some movement because it understands as you are talking. So don't stress so much if you feel like you're moving your hands a lot. It does account for that. And then same idea with the eye contact. Just looking at the screen, I wouldn't stress so much about it. Clearly, I need to work on it a little bit because I have around 27%. But again, I don't want you to stress so much about getting these all nailed down. You can practice as much as you need to. If your first try you don't do well, that's okay. This was my first try. So definitely practice as much as you need to, not stressing so much about some of these things. And then you'll see your progress as well. I want to show you that too on this analysis. You'll see how eventually your progress improves over time here too. All right. Did that answer your question? Anything else I should add?
No, that was perfect for now.
All right. Should I take a moment to see any other questions before I move forward?
I don't know if you want to talk about it here. I've got it kind of in my notes. But can you talk about the use of Quincia in terms of prepping students using a tool like this to prep students for pre-screening interviews that employers have started to employ, and what that means? What does a pre-screening interview mean, and how might this tool help them prepare for that?
Yeah, so I've even experienced it myself where I've been invited as a pre-screening tool or like a pre-employment assessment tool to take an interview. Now it is with a robot again, and they're usually roughly, some of them are like around 5 questions, some of them are a little less than that, and you usually have around 2 minutes to respond. Now, these questions are very similar to what you see here, but they do vary based on the employer. They want to know some basics like why you're interested in a company. And so this is a really good tool to help you prepare, especially for that environment when you're interacting with just a robot and not a person. It is definitely a different experience. But again, not stressing so much about it because it's really just getting to know you a little bit more to also better analyze you as a candidate, because with so many applications coming through, employers are now starting to use this AI interview experience to really help them decide more on their candidate pool, who is a good option. So that's where practicing as much as you can really help prepare you for that. And even if it is a real life interview, this can definitely come in hand to help prepare you too.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I'll go ahead then back to my dashboard here. And then I'm going to now get into the LinkedIn side. So this one's a little bit more brief, but basically on your dashboard, you'll scroll down to the LinkedIn widget here, and then you'll just go ahead and click upload. And so you'll see these 2 options. You can link your LinkedIn profile as a PDF, And there's instructions on how to retrieve that PDF, or you can use the Quincia extension to have it analyzed that way. And we also have instructions for that here. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this option. And so it's going to take you to LinkedIn, where on the bottom left-hand corner here, you'll just want to click the Quincia Q and then click Start LinkedIn Analysis from here. So you'll want to click Proceed a few times. And so it's basically taking your information from your profile here and plugging it into Quincia. All right, and then once it's ready to go, you'll just click Submit Analysis. And so that's going to take about 90 seconds for your profile to be analyzed. And so you'll see the progress again down here below. I do already have my profile analyzed, so I can actually go back to my dashboard and just show you what I have. So once it's ready, you'll be able to click See Details from here too. And then this is what that LinkedIn profile analysis will look like. And so I did want to note too, LinkedIn is our newest feature here at Quincia. So we're still establishing the averages when it comes to scoring and even the highest scores. So that's why my scoring's a little low right now. But essentially, again, we really want you to focus more so on the flags and improvements that you get on the analysis. So you'll see them again here. And so the general section that I have here on the right is looking for you to have filled out all the basics of your LinkedIn profile. So when you create your account, you're automatically guided to fill some things out. That's what it's really looking for right here. And so here I have a standard background picture detected, and that is a red flag. So customizing that a little bit more to stand out and showcase my personality a little bit is a great recommendation. And then for an improvement, I have a customization here recommended to me because I have a default LinkedIn headline that's detected. So customizing the title of my role here could be a great way to, again, stand out. And then another customization piece is a generic LinkedIn URL that's been detected here. So customizing this URL is highly recommended in order to, again, stand out. Because if you want to include this on your resume and have employers then be directed to your profile, it's a good thing to have that stand out more. All right, now moving down to the content section here. This is where Quinn wants to ensure that everything from your resume is on your LinkedIn profile. Now, not everything on LinkedIn should be on your resume, but definitely from your resume onto LinkedIn. And so I am actually going to go ahead and click these improvements here. So I don't have any, I do have just one flag, but these improvements I want to show you because these are really helpful. It's indicating I have some bullet points missing here. And it's saying that I'm missing these exact bullet points from my resume, and then saying I need to plug these into my LinkedIn profile. So this will be an exact copy of what is on your resume. So you can go ahead and just copy and paste that when you're making your edits. All right, and then down below here as well, we have again a skills cloud for you to refer to the essential and technical skills that you mentioned. And this is a good thing to reference to make sure that it matches what is on your resume. And then again, if you need to search for technical skills here, like I showed you in my example, you can also use this resource here. And then the skills gap detector is here again for you. If you find a job description on LinkedIn and you just want to plug it in to see if you're a good match, you can go ahead and use it through this feature too. And then we have the LinkedIn analysis history here again for you. So you can download a PDF copy of this analysis. And I did want to mention too, it is different amongst the other two tools because LinkedIn only limits our students to 5 analysis for the LinkedIn profile analysis. So you will be limited to just those 5 at this time. We are hoping to increase that number to 10 in the near future. But if you ever want to keep track of how many you do have, you won't see it on my screen, but it should be on yours where you'll see 1 of 5 available or 3 of 5 available to get analyzed. All right, so that's everything I had to cover for you all. Is there any questions about anything I went over or the LinkedIn specifically?
Yeah, so Lauren, we had a great question. Number one was just from the dashboard page, re-highlighting where they could get their LinkedIn work. But I think that leads to a bigger question of understanding the progression of work on the platform and understanding when you can see each thing that You have to have the resume first before the interview, so on and so forth. So just number one, where was that LinkedIn feature again? So I know how to get to it. But then two, talk them through like the logical progression of using this platform.
Yeah, so again, here we are on the dashboard. We really try and design it to guide you through the steps automatically. So it should make sense just based on the way it's designed. So first starting with that resume after you've of course activated. And so uploading that, and then that next step will be your interview. And I believe, I don't think it's on my side right now. But basically, there should be a step process for you too that you're guided on to complete these steps. It is optional, but it does help you perform all of those steps for you. So I think because I've already completed my steps, they went away, but there is a little blue section here that gives you a timeline basically. And so yes, once you have that resume uploaded, you can take that interview. And once you have your resume uploaded, you can also take that get your LinkedIn profile analyzed. So it's again here on this dashboard, and then pretty easy to navigate. They're all similar in how you navigate to them, essentially. Did that answer your question? Anything else I need to add?
No, that's great. I think another question, well, I'll just answer one thing for everyone so that everyone has the answer. And then another question for you is for everyone who has checked in today, we will send a follow-up email that contains a lot of resources that pertain to using the platform, but also after we can get the link or the recording, excuse me, uploaded, we will also share the recording. We had a question for you to reiterate when you are doing work with a job description, when you're looking for that skills gap, what should and shouldn't be included from a traditional job description? What are the sections they should include, and what are the sections they should not include?
Yeah, so I'm going to refer back to this one that I use as an example. So here I left out this whole section, the company overview section. But basically, I highlighted this position summary. So there's some details on the role itself, the responsibilities of the role, and then also the qualifications. And I left out compensation and benefits because that won't be as relevant either. And you'll notice too, if you happen to copy the whole thing, it won't provide you with any results for you as a match or not. So if you find it giving you nothing in terms of a match, it could be because you put in too much. And even sometimes if you put in too little, I noticed it won't give you. So if you leave just key responsibilities and qualifications and only copy and paste that, I believe it won't even give you something. So let's see, I can test it out to show you. We'll submit here. Oh, it worked this time. Okay. But yes, sometimes you will find it will struggle. It depends on how much information is in these bullet points. So with this example, I found it better to have the position summary included and then qualifications to really pull everything from it that I needed to compare me with. So I will change that again here. Oh, it actually did here. I copied the wrong part. Maybe that's why. Okay, we'll submit one more time. Okay, yeah. So you see it didn't work. So I happened to copy and paste the whole thing that I originally did. So if I just leave it to responsibilities, qualifications, it's not going to give me anything. But because I left out that summary, it's basically it's not going to give me anything. So we'll go ahead again and I'll show you when I include the summary here. It then will provide me the match. There we go. So yeah, you can toggle with the technical skills here too. All right, does that make sense?
Yes, that's perfect.
Perfect.
I'll leave it just one more second for any other questions before I jump. This is actually a really good opportunity. Let's see. I'm going to steal your share really quick, Lauren.
Oh, no problem.
So that our students can see, for those that were asking earlier, what does the Activate look like? This is what that platform will look like. And so when you first log in, you will have this piece up here that says activate your license, and you will physically need to click activate and to move on with the platform. So this is what you will see. You only have to do it once. It is just immediately after you join the platform, you will activate, and then you'll have your access to the platform. But kind of speaking along with that, I wanted to show everyone, both online and in our audience, where some of these resources live. So of course, you're going to have some resources that we will send you, but then also I wanted to show you where you could get to them on your own. And so I have just logged in to my platform for Handshake. I want to show you where to get to our resources. So if you come over here to your left-hand menu bar, you're going to go to the Career Center. And the Career Center is basically everything that you need from our office on this platform. So of course, you can get to jobs and events and employers and people in your inbox. But if you want things that are specifically on this platform for you, it's in the Career Center, including making appointments, but also your resources. And so in this case, I'm going to click on resources, and you will notice there are a ton of different resources here for you to use and to kind of guide yourself through this process. But we just activated late yesterday our Quincia resource. And so if you click into this resource, it literally has everything you need to know about the platform, how to get signed up, and then also all of the resources and some troubleshooting that we have put together with the help of our friends. And so this will be here now into the future, and we will have this available to you. So again, if you are on Handshake, it is click into the Career Center, and then you want to go to your resources. And this is like a library of resources for you of a whole bunch of different things that you have access to. Ashley, I will pause there to see if you have any questions from our in-person audience. No questions from the in-person audience. Well, I don't have any more, I believe, from the online audience. I'm checking just really quick to make sure. As we wrap up, I do a few little things for you. Number one, thank you to Lauren for coming and sharing all of her great knowledge with us. She's been a great partner and making sure that Mercer has all of the resources that we need for a successful launch. I just showed you how to get to the resource for Quincia so that you can sign up for a account. One of the things that you will see when you go to select, and I can actually share my screen again so that you can see that, is we have set up 5 different links for individuals to join the platform. Let me point out and say you only need one account, right? All 5 of these links essentially lead to the same account. There's no benefit to joining multiple times. You can only take one license. But what this enables us to do is I'm going to use something. I am a student who's going into the social sciences, and so I want maybe the all industries link. And so what this is going to do is when I join the platform, it is going to allow me to have access to templates and resources that are specific to this all industries group. Whereas our business group will have business resources, engineering and technology will have theirs, so on and so forth. If you happen to place yourself in the wrong group, that is fine. If you joined the platform and all of a sudden you've changed your mind, you're like, actually, I align now with a different industry, that is fine. Just know you only need one account for the platform. You do not need to create, there's actually no benefit to you to create more than one account. So please don't do so. You must sign up with your Mercer email address. That is the way that the platform is going to recognize that you should have access and be connected with Mercer. So please also keep that in mind. Lastly, I did just want to say, throughout this whole process, the goal of this is progress, not perfection, right? And so as we are working through this, we encourage you to use all of the platforms that are available to you. AI is doing some really amazing things. Quincy is doing some really amazing things with AI to be able to help you. But we don't want you to forget that you have a whole team of professional Mercer career consultants to help supplement what these platforms are doing. So we want you to use this tool to its highest ability. And then we want you to take that finely tuned resume and bring it to us so we can even take it up the next notch with a human eye. So remember, you are on this platform to progress. You're not seeking perfection. You're not seeking, oh, I got to get a better score than my friend. You're just seeking to be a better you. And then lastly, we just want to thank you for coming here, for learning more about Mercer's newest platform. Again, we will get some resources to you. But with that being said, thank you for attending, and we'll leave the room open for just a few more minutes in case there's any more questions. But other than that, have a fantastic Wednesday, y'all.
Bye, everyone.